what did you think of Alex's game?
I thought Alex played really well. Obviously, he hit some career high marks, which I wasn't even aware of until way after the game. But I thought he did a great job of distributing the ball. Really got a lot of people involved. I think it's pretty unique. You get 7 guys with 4 catches or more. Obviously, 8 players had catches, 9 guys had targets. So just distributing the ball was good, and then obviously the production that came from that.
Is there something about this offense that you think that maybe allows them to be more comfortable running it?
I don't know. I can't tell you that because with my experience with Alex, it's been him running this offense. I think what I will say is he knows where people are and he knows where to get the ball out to, and he's a really, really smart guy. He understands what defenses are trying to do, and that helps the offensive line. That helps our guys, with getting yards after catch. The quicker you get it to them, the more they can get upfield. It just helps our offense run smooth.
Michael Phillips? If he's not on, we'll move on to Pete.
Hey, Scott. The running game didn't really get going in Detroit too well, but you did hit a lot of short passes to JD and a couple other players. Do you view those plays as an extension of your running game and maybe not get caught up so much in just the strictly rushing stats?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get caught up in stats a lot, just in general, as far as like whether it's rushing or passing. To me, they're all plays, and we want to just be able to move the football. But yes, yet the answer to your question is yes. I mean, some of those short passes are an extension of our running game. We use the backs, obviously, in the pass game, whether it's out of the backfield or split out. And those types of completions, those high percentage completions, it's just like hand the ball off to a guy. So, yeah, that's part of it. I think that, with the running stuff, we had 26 carries. Obviously we had 91 plays, or 83 plays, I guess, counted. But we had 26 carries, which, is a decent amount. But, yeah, we threw the ball a lot, but a lot of that was just circumstance, Now, we were able to move the ball in the first half. We just need to finish drives better.
Ben, Nikki, Matt Paris.
Hey, Scott. You guys obviously are using Logan Thomas a ton, but less so your other tight ends. And I know sometimes that can just be game plan or other circumstances. What do you think ultimately this group needs more out of the tight end position to help for your offense to sort of go to another level? And maybe that's more of an off-season thing. What do you think is sort of the next thing to sort of round out that group?
I mean, I don't know. I think we're getting good production. Obviously, yeah, Logan played the majority of the snaps, and it's really just because he's stepped up and taken charge of that role, And I think, you look at him and what he was able to do. He had, I think, 4 catches, 66 yards, and he probably had his best game as a blocker. The steps he's making every week are impressive, and sometimes the tight end's going to get more than others. That's the nature of football. If you're taking one thing away, we'd like to pick it up from another group. But I think the group in general just needs to continue to develop, and then we'll evaluate it as that kind of the broader spectrum after the season.
Thanks.
Hi, Scott. I know there have been a number of factors at play for the first half and kind of the difference in the second half. But in your mind, what is the biggest thing to getting off to a faster start in a lot of these games? I
mean, there's so many things you can look at. I mean, if you look at the last 4 games, because you want to score. It's very important to take a lead in the NFL. You talk about win probability and all that kind of stuff. Getting a lead helps your chances to win. It's pretty simple. The last 4 games, in particular. You go back to the first Giants game, our drive stalled. We had a field goal attempt. You're not going to make all those. Okay. The next game against the Cowboys, we didn't get it on 4th and inches. The negative is obviously we didn't score. But their offense had to start from their own 1, and they end up getting a safety. The next game, we had a 21-yard gain, and we fumbled. Got to protect the ball. And then this past game, we just took 2 negative plays. One was, I took a chance, called a reverse. They did a nice job playing it. And then we took a sack. So, this last game, I think we started pretty fast. We had a 22-yard game. We had a 19-yard gain, had a couple decent runs, and then we just had some negative plays. It's not just starting the drives, but then just finishing. We got to finish, and we got to put our team in a better situation, and by getting a lead early and not having to try to fight and come back.
And do you script anything going into games for like the first few plays, first 15 plays or whatever?
Yeah, we do. We kind of have a general script more for like first and second down thoughts, and then we have like our top thoughts for different situations. Yeah, so that's something that we'll do.
Thanks.
Yep.
Hey Scott, how did you think Morgan Moses handled just being kind of thrown into the fire like that at the left side, and what is it about his game that maybe suits him? Do you see him being a left tackle if need be?
Yeah, I mean, I think Morgan is a competitor. He's a tough guy. He's going to do whatever he needs to get the job done, wherever we, ask of him. He's, really been a good player for us over the course of this season. And, we needed him obviously in that situation to step up and play left. And I thought he did well. I asked him after the game because, I haven't been here, but this year I said, when's the last time you played left tackle? He said, my rookie year. And I said, all right. So, and if that situation comes up again, or if that's something we need him to do, he'll be ready.
Thanks.
Chris Russell?
Hey, Scott. I know you guys weren't here, obviously, but from whatever you knew of Alex 2 years ago or around the injury, and now what you know and what you've seen the last couple of games, how do you think maybe he's improved as a quarterback over time, assuming that you feel that way, especially, again, with the data that you now have coaching him every day?
Yeah, I don't know if he's improved from, I mean, he's had a hell of a career, and, really had a couple, really good years in San Francisco, had a few, had some good years in Kansas City. And then obviously when he got hurt, they were, I think they were 6-2 at the time here. And, we had played them when we were in Carolina and they beat us here in a close game. So, he's played really well. I think I think this injury, I think anytime you have time away from the game, it's time for self-reflection, time to really think, hey, if when I come back, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that or whatever. And I think you've seen him get better, obviously the 3 games that he's played in this past week, I think being his best performance for a couple reasons. One, he prepared as a starter all week. And then the other one, just the comfort level of being back and, just getting back, knocking that rust off and being ready to play.
JP?
Hey Scott, obviously you guys are still in this division race, but Ron's talked a lot about evaluating younger players. How much of an impact does it make with Alex Smith running this offense and getting more targets out to Cam Sims, Isaiah Wright, and just the film you're able to look at of these young receivers?
Yeah, I haven't, thought about it quite like that. I think just Alex running the offense and distributing the ball, I think helps everyone. I think teams have done some things to try to take Terry away, and now, if we're going to distribute and have some other guys make plays, it helps us. It does help those other guys get to kind of show what they can do, and I think those other guys are getting better, and I think you're seeing them getting better, and I think that's helped us be able to, move the ball a little better. Offensively.
Thank you.
Rhiannon?
Hey, Scott. I know last year in Carolina, you guys had a number of injuries along the offensive line. I think left tackle was a spot where there was a number of injuries that occurred. I'm just curious, is that experience having to make adjustments with so many different moving parts to your offensive line last year kind of helping you this year, as there have been so many different moving parts in DC as well, too?
Yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, I think it does. I mean, I think we started 3 left tackles last year, 3 or 4. But it's part of the business. It's part of the deal. It's part of this job that, unfortunately, there's going to be injuries and you got to be able to adjust. And, having dealt with that before, just kind of helps us with the same thing, just trying to, be ready for it. Hey, we got to move guys around. How can we help certain guys? How can we do things that are, take a little bit of pressure off the line? I think our offensive line, we dropped back to pass 57 times last game and we only had 2 sacks. And really, I think there was some opportunities where we could have got the ball out on a couple of those. And I mean, it's a credit to the quarterback getting the ball out, the credit to the receivers, getting open, the tight ends and the backs protecting, and then ultimately the offensive line protecting. But yeah, I mean, you do anything you can to help those guys up front because they got a tough job.
And then just Alex, after the game, he said when he looked up at halftime and saw the 3 points, he was in disbelief at the fact that there was only 3 points on the board for the team because of how many times the team was inside the 30 with Detroit. I'm just curious, what was your reaction kind of seeing the team get down there and not coming away with more points last game?
Well, at the time, you're frustrated when it happens, when you don't capitalize or when you don't finish drives. But really, my mind is always on to the next thing at that point and saying, hey, we can't dwell on this. We got to take advantage of the next opportunity we have. And I think that our offense did a nice job of doing that. It's easy to hang your head and be like, man, we screwed this thing up, but our guys kept fighting and. We got in a situation to potentially win it. Ultimately, we weren't able to score a touchdown on that last drive, or we could have won the game. But we fought back to put us in a position to have a chance to win. And now we just we got to learn from that, and we got to be better and make more of those opportunities. When you have them, and not come up empty-handed.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah.
Sam?
Hey, Scott, when you have target distribution skew heavily to one receiver like it did early to JD last week, is your thought there like, okay, we're taking what the defense gives us, that's okay, or do you make a concentrated effort to try to get it in someone else's hands?
No, I mean, because see, like especially at that position, like it's sometimes the target goes to him because he is primary, but then other times, that's just kind of taking what the defense gives you. When you got a quarterback, any quarterback, you trust your quarterback and, he's going to give the ball where it needs to be. I more evaluate, is the ball going to where it's supposed to be, and then communicate with the quarterback about that. Like I said, like these guys, they had a plan where they were going to take Terry away. We were able to get him on a big play on the first drive. And then they kind of jumped out of that immediately. So we tried to manufacture some things as we went on, and we were able to get the ball in Terry's hands a little bit more. But I think the ball just needs to spread out, to all your 5 eligibles, and those guys that are the safety nets or like possible checkdowns. If the ball ends up in their hand, then it does, and that's just the nature of the defense and how they're playing. And to me, that there's nothing wrong with that because those are positive plays.
How quickly, when you see how a defense is playing you, how quickly can you make those adjustments in terms of talking to Alex? Is that, a drive-to-drive thing, play-to-play thing? What does that look like?
It's more of a drive-to-drive thing. I mean, I can make the adjustments with the play calls, but then a guy like Alex who's been around, he gets it. Like, hey, we're getting to this, and he'll understand why. But it's not like I'm telling him in the headset like, hey, we're doing this because of this. I just call the play. We don't have enough time for that. And then we'll have those communications. That communication, like whether it's me and the coaches or Coach Kenny Zampese, he's down there communicating to the quarterbacks of what we're doing, why we're doing what we're doing, and then the defense. That's the thing. I mean, they might show you something one drive and then switch it up. So you're never just set in stone. You always got to have contingency plans.
Thank you.
More Heather McDonough, and we'll end with Scott Abraham.
Hey, Scott. The protocols today, the extra protocols, what was that kind of like for you and your guys on your side of the ball? Just differences that you felt today with obviously all the extra stuff that had to go on, be it the masks or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we'd like to have more in-person meetings, but the most important thing is just keeping everybody safe, both the coaches and the players, coaches, staff. That's one of my things is that, I've talked to our players about it all the time is, hey, control what you can control. And hey, I just say to me, tell me what the rules are and we're going to follow them and we're going to make the most out of whatever opportunities we have, whether it's a Zoom meeting, whether it's a walkthrough, whether it's practice. And that's just what we continue to echo to our guys is, hey, these are the rules. We want to make sure you guys are safe. So nothing happens to you. Number one, that's the most important. Then also, so everyone's able to go play the game that they love and go compete on Sunday. So this is the rules. We're going to follow them, and then make sure that we use every resource at our disposal to go be ready to play on Sunday. And, there's no excuses. No one's going to feel sorry for us. We got to go out and get it done.
Scott?
Hi, Scott. As we move forward to late November and in December, the weather becomes more and more unpredictable. It's colder outside. Is there a stronger focus on the run game or playing more of that physical brand of offensive football because, weather concerns or, just the cooler temperatures?
Yeah. I mean, every week is different. I mean, we'll see. Yeah, I wouldn't say there's an extra focus on that. I think you can still throw the ball, do everything you want when it's cold. I think the issues are like when you get precipitation or wind. Those obviously can be an issue, and that might be coming up. But yeah, we still focus on everything. I mean, focus on being balanced. Obviously, the last couple of weeks have been very pass heavy, and a lot of that's been circumstance. But we try to get better at all facets. And yeah, I 100% get what you're saying as far as we got to be ready to run the ball if we get in those situations.